Hi, I'm Chip Stites, and this is the Laughing Retirement. It's the holiday season. And so, while over the last 2 weeks, the markets have seemed to enjoy themselves as much as we do from Thanksgiving on, I thought I would give you a little warning because there's a history that goes with this warning. And I'd like to show that to you. So, I'm going to share screen here a bit. And this is a holiday warning. If you remember a long time ago, there was, I think it was Alan Greenspan, Fed chief, who talked about irrational exuberance. Well, he was talking about something that has occurred over and over and over again in mankind, often in the markets. So I want to talk about that. One of my favorite people is a guy named Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." Well, right now, in one particular area, everybody is being greedy. And I think you should be concerned. This is common sense versus the herd mentality. A lot of people think that the stock market is a weighing machine. It weighs the good and bad and everything. I don't believe that. I believe that the stock market is more like a pendulum, swinging from overbought to oversold and overexuberant to overfearful. There's always a middle area in the market that makes sense. So this video is going to be about a combination of common sense and history versus herd mentality. So let's take a look at that. In the 1920s to 1930s, 250 automobile companies were created. Today, there are 3 automobile companies in the United States. And worldwide, there are only 14. So when auto companies were the great deal and Henry Ford established his idea of making cars on the assembly line, 250 companies were created. Of the 250 in the US, there are about 3 left. There are 10 companies that manufacture cars, but there are 3 US companies remaining out of the 250. Now, does that tell you how many people own stock in that? Because stock existed back in the 20s and lost their money. In the 1970s to 1980s, over 125 computer companies were created. And while computers proliferate today and are a huge part of our lives, most of those companies are gone. In the 1990s, it was the dot-com craze, and that was the first time when I learned what can happen when something doesn't make sense. It's estimated that 7,000 to 10,000 companies put .com after their name in the 1990s. There are about 5 successful companies out of 7,000 to 10,000 today. And you know them. You can name them. Amazon, eBay, Priceline, Shutterfly, Coupons.com. Those were successful. But before the weeding out came of all the ones that were worthless, trillions of dollars went down the tubes. In 1997 and 1998, I started reading the quarterly reports of companies, and I realized that they were holding 10, 15, 20% of these .coms, even when they were quote unquote value companies and .coms were anything but valuable. So what did I do? I sold every mutual fund that I had that had more than 2.5% .coms in it. And As a result, my clients lost about half of what the market lost. We still lost money, but we lost about half of that, which means we came back quicker. Now, 2010 to 2020 was no exception. In the late part of the 09, 08 to all the way to 2012, 13, altcoins became a big deal. And 34,716 altcoins were created. In 2017, half of them are gone. How many people heard about Bitcoin? How many people heard about Bitcoin millionaires, listened to the hype, bought Bitcoin, and then lost money? In the 2020s, right now, it's artificial intelligence. There were over 57,933 artificial companies created, according to Wikipedia, in the last 5 or so years. Artificial intelligence is the big deal. There were some 3540 ETFs created in the last couple of years just for AI, just for artificial intelligence. The car that runs itself, the paper that you can write, doing nothing but using artificial intelligence, all the things that it will do for us. The fallout has not yet begun. So here's your warning. If you own an AI company and have made money, don't worry, be happy, sell it. Take your money and run. If you own an ETF and have made money, don't worry, be happy, sell it. Take your profits and run. If you own an AI company, an individual stock, and you've lost money, remember, you can take up to $3,000 in losses off of your income. The rest you can carry over year. Or you can offset your losses against the same kind of capital gains. So it's not all lost. One of the things I hear all the time is, well, I haven't made enough. All you need to make, and I'm going to give you my investment formula right here. All you need to do is to make taxes plus inflation plus your expenses of investing plus 1 to 3%. So if you've made 6.5% and you're in a 20% net tax bracket, and that means that you make 100,000 of gross income and you pay 20,000 of taxes, regardless of what your tax bracket is. Your net tax bracket is 20% of your income. You make 6.5% on your AI. That would leave 5.2% after taxes. Inflation is 3.2%, and that leaves 2%. If you pay your advisor 1%, and you have another 1% in the expenses of your mutual funds, et cetera, your annuities and everything, then you broke even. If you do it yourself and you don't have an advisor, you've made your 1%. Sell it, be happy. Can't tell you how many times I've heard, but this is different, but this is different. It's not different. It's the same thing. You can go all the way back to the tulip bulb collapse in Holland. I think it was the 1400s. Human beings do it over and over and over again. Whether it's Bitcoin or an altcoin or a non-fungible asset, or whether it's a car company, or whether it's a computer company, or whether it's a piece of software. Doesn't matter. That's why here at the Laughing Retirement, we want you to be able to laugh in retirement because you know what you are getting. Never buy anything that doesn't pay you for the risk you take. AI is not paying you for the risk you're taking. So if you've made money, be happy, get out. If you've lost money, you've lost money. You've learned a lesson. Buy something that's going to pay you. instead of taking from you. If you like what you're hearing, there's a free masterclass on this YouTube channel. Go take a look at it. Email me at info@thelaughingretirement. Tell me what you think. If you think I'm full of hot air, tell me. It's all right. Watch all of our financial videos and you'll get a flavor for how we invest here at The Laughing Retirement. Subscribe so that you know when the next video comes out. But most of all, take care of your money. And the latest craze, the AI of today, the non-fungible token of yesterday, or the altcoin Bitcoin of the day before that, or the dot-coms of the 90s, the computers of the 70s, the car companies of the 20s. It's the same thing over and over again. Let it weed itself out. You'll have time to make money. In the meantime, buy something that pays you for the risk you take. I'm Chip Stites. Subscribe to this channel. Thanks. Enjoy yourself and a happy holiday season.